Hey, gang, this is Dr. Jim Harris coming to you. Gosh, the beginning of the school year. It's hard to believe the summer's already passed and school is starting. And I tell you, I've been traveling around all over the place because the beginning back to school time is a really busy time for me because I'm doing a lot of presentations and trainings for teachers and administrators as they're preparing for kids to return to school. And as a professor, I'm also getting ready. Our semester just started Monday this week. So I've been talking a lot these last few weeks to folks about what's first things first for kids and administrators and teachers as we get the school year started. And I'll tell you, I've been, thinking about doing different videos here and there. And this was something that I just felt like I wanted to share with people. I feel like the things we're going to talk about today are things that I really believe can move the needle and make sure that kids, students, and teachers and administrators have a great start to the year. There's a lot of things that we're kind of curious about and we're trying to figure out, but this is one of those things that I feel very confident that if you follow the things that I'm going to talk with you about today, I truly know that it's going to cause a better start or create a better experience for students as they begin the school year. Now, anybody that's ever followed my work knows that the beginning of everything I do has this calibrating question of what do kids need these days? And I think that question helps to cut us through confusion and excitement and sometimes drama to get to the things that are essential for the experiences that we want kids to have at the unique times that we ask this question. Now, I'll start off with this a little bit on a personal note. This is last week, my youngest son, Cody, leaving for his first day at a new school. I was actually up in Michigan getting ready to train some administrators that morning, and my wife sent me these pictures of Cody going off for his first day. And there was this moment where I was like, oh, wow, I'm getting ready to go talk to these administrators about starting strong. Like, how do we start the school year strong? And it all kind of came together for me at once as a professional, but most of all as a father, is thinking about what kind of day did I want Cody to have the first day at school at this new school? What kind of feelings was he having? And what were some things that I hope that the folks at that school did for him to help him have the best day possible? So, I think these two questions are what will guide us in thinking about what experience should kids have in these first days of school. I kind of frame the first 2 weeks as a good starting point about the starting strong time frame. So there's these two questions that kids actually are asking us all the time developmentally, not meaning verbally. Kids aren't walking up to us and asking us these questions, but developmentally, kids are asking us these two questions: do I belong here, and can I be successful? And we as teachers and administrators at the beginning of the school year should be obsessed with making sure that we provide experiences that help kids answer these two questions. So the first 2 weeks, and obviously the whole school year, but especially those first 2 weeks, we should be obsessed with making sure as many kids as possible can answer these two questions in the affirmative. Do I belong here? And can I be successful? Focusing on connection and competency, because the foundation and connection has to come first. Connection and competency builds a context where kids are ready to learn. So what three things should we be focusing on? Of all the stuff, all the things, all the bulletin boards and the walk-ins and assignments and syllabi and all that stuff, what should we be thinking on? And I think these three things, if you just focus on these three R's, you're going to be off to a great start. Relationships, routines, and reinforcement. Let's unpack each one of these. Relationships. It's easy when you think about it. Relationships, learning and growth takes place in the context of relationships. I could talk about that for days. But what we know is that human beings are social creatures and they do their best when they feel connected. So what are relationships? Relationships answer that first question: do I belong here? Again, this is not something where it's about we'll just be nice people, and because we're nice people, it's going to work out. Intentional practices, especially in those first 2 weeks of school, are really going to hope to focus on the importance of relationships. I go, and I've talked about this numerous times. John Gottman, who I believe is the best relationship researcher in the country, talks about building ratios. And I don't have time to really unpack that, and that's not what this is for. What I want you to think about is our brain is a pattern seeking device. So when kids see us and start to experience the pattern of the relationship with us, what is that ratio of positive versus negative? What are we doing to make sure that we're having intentional positive interactions with kids to build that positive ratio? Because the brain's a pattern seeking device that makes their brain say, there's that person, this is going to be a positive experience. Or as they're walking into this new school and they're trying to figure out what the patterns of that new school are, is the more people having positive interactions with that kid, the more of a positive relationship or pattern the kid starts to have about that school. Hey, I'm going to this place where there's these people that I have positive interactions with. So by the generalization of that idea, this place is a positive place because I have positive relationships there. So we have to be intentional. And I'm going to tell you, just being a nice person isn't good enough. We have to have intentional practice. I had a kid years ago. I was working at a middle school. A kid with significant behavioral issues said to me one time, Mr. Jim, you can tell the teachers that like you because they talk to you and they don't have to. Man, that's better than anything I paid thousands of dollars in student loans for. And here's why. That is the best indicator of culture and climate that I see in schools, of culture. Right? Do adults talk to kids when they don't have to? You know why? Because adults that talk to kids when they don't have to like kids, which is an important prerequisite for creating great relationships with them. So I encourage you in these first 2 weeks of school, don't just wait on being a nice person. Don't just stand out front that first day and shake hands and do fist bumps and stuff like that. Be thinking about the times that you're going to invest in relationships. The best time to build relationships with kids is when you don't have to, which is arrival, hallway transitions, lunchtime, dismissal, playgrounds. Times that are unstructured are the times when adults should be moving, interacting, and building those positive relationships with kids. Finding ways to do that and holding adults accountable to make sure that we're building those relationships. Second R, routines. Why are routines important? Because they help kids answer the second question. Can I be successful here? If I have the routines, right, I'm moving towards competency because I can answer the question, what does it mean to be successful here? What does this mean? I'm talking about what does it mean to be successful in turning in my papers? What does it mean to be successful in hanging my backpack, walking through the hallway, getting my tray? Those kinds of things build a sense of competency. The number one, if you think about anxiety, what is anxiety? Fear of the unknown. A lot of kids have a lot of stress and anxiety at the starting of the school day, starting the school year. So how do we address anxiety? If anxiety is fear of the unknown, we increase the known. We increase the knowledge of the patterns. We practice those things. We teach kids where we turn our papers in. And listen, if I tell him on Monday he didn't know by Wednesday, guess what? On Monday, he was so overwhelmed with all the new stuff, he may not have had the bandwidth to absorb the 20 million instructions we give kids on the first days of school. So repeat, reinforce, repeat, reinforce. So, and also for especially those middle school, high school, and even us into college, right? Assume all the kids over the summer that you know have been in school for multiple years, had a non-threatening head injury, and completely forgot how to do school. When they walk into school, let's think about what do we need to do to teach them how to do school. Reteach the hallways, reteach arrival, reteach lunchtime, and don't do it with how many years have you been going to school? Do it with, hey, let's talk about what it means to be successful in our hallways. Let's talk about what it means to be successful in our cafeteria. Let's revisit these things because I want you to be successful, because those routines create that sense of, can I be successful here, which builds towards competency, which decreases anxiety, and now we have room to teach and learn. So making sure that we're practicing in context. Think of it, I'm a has-been athlete, right? One of the things we know is repetition creates skill. Repetition creates skill. Too often, we teach once and punish later. Teach, reteach, check for understanding. All those kinds of things are critically important. Last R, reinforcement. Now, notice I didn't say that rewards, I said reinforcement. What am I talking about when I say reinforcement? If we are, again, relationships, we're having intentional relationship building opportunities, we're teaching routines. Now, what I want to do is I want to give kids feedback that they're being successful in meeting the expectations. Now, what does that do? Reinforce competency. Now I'm reinforced competency. Because if you walk through the hallway, and we've been working on walking through the hallway properly, and I see you and I give you a fist bump, I love how you're walking through the hallway safely. Kid turns his paper in the right way. Hey, I loved how you turned your paper in the right way. That's great work, right? What am I doing? I'm answering the second question, which is, can I be successful here? Too often we teach and then expect instead of teach and reinforce when we see it. Or when we don't see it, we want to reteach, right? Teach it, reinforce it, give that feedback, close that loop for that kid so he starts to believe, hey, I'm the kind of guy that can make things happen. I'm the kind of guy that can be successful here. And that's why that reinforcement piece is so huge, because if it's important enough to teach and punish, it's important enough to acknowledge. Now, again, and I know sometimes I don't want to talk about this too much, but I don't worry about talking to kids about rewards down the road, daily, weekly, every day. Let's focus on getting those. Let's help these kids answer the I can question. Always, it's one of the most important things I think we can think about with kids, helping kids understand the I can question. What is I can? I can. I always do therapy with folks, and I even do this now today. Asking a kid, what can you do? What can you do? If a kid can't answer that question, the adults, we are responsible for helping kids be able to answer that question better. We're responsible for providing them experiences that help them answer this question in the affirmative. So the more kids in your hallways, in your classrooms that can answer the I can question with routines and the ideas of those things, they are entering into the learning environment with competency. Now, I wanted to mention one thing real quick, and I don't want to, I'll spin on this just a little bit. One thing I have seen that's a don't do in the first, especially the first week of classes, is don't start the year off, or don't do what I call academic posturing. What is academic posturing? These are those teachers who show up and talk about how hard their class is, how no one gets an A, and they give this whole big spiel and try to intimidate students. And they give tons of homework, trying to freak kids out. Now, why is that not beneficial? Because yes, there are a certain percentage of kids that will not affect. But guess what? Those are the kids who are probably going to be successful in that class anyways. What you're going to do is you're going to intimidate the middle, which are that middle group of kids who are kind of in the edge, that 4 to 6 range kid. You're going to intimidate them. Now they're becoming very anxious. And because they're anxious, they're not going to have the bandwidth to learn your subject. And the kids that are lower performers are going to quit right out of the gate. They're going to quit. Why? Because you've already set the bar too high. I'm not saying don't have high expectations. Talk to kids about have high expectations and how you have a lot of support. A lot of times teachers that do this whole my class is so hard, all this kind of stuff, it's academic posturing driven by their own ego to feel important and control and empower. So what I'm telling you is let's expect kids walking through our hallways, walking through our doorways, asking us these two important questions, which are, do I belong here? And can I be successful? And use your relationships, your routines, and your reinforcement to help kids answer these questions early. Because kids who answer these questions early are going to be better learners and better people moving forward. So I challenge you to do this. I challenge you to start the year strong. I hope this has been helpful to you. If there's anything I can do to help you in any way, this is how you track me down. And I'm going to try to do a few more of these videos. They're not fancy. They're not super produced. They're just ways that I really want to give people free content in order to help support kids to be the best version of themselves and to help us to be a best version of ourselves along the way. Thank you, and stay curious and keep working hard.